Carla here, also known online as the Beer Babe, at Beer Babe.
My name is Mike. I am the Robin to Seacoast Beverage Labs Batman. Can be found on Twitter at @Meredith.
Hey, I'm Norman. I'm known online as the Beer Nut or Real Beer Nut on Twitter.
Hello, this is Sean Jansen from TwoBeerGuys.com.
Brian from Seacoast Beverage Lab, and this is the Seacoast Beverage Lab podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Seacoast Beverage Lab podcast, SBL
Hello.
podcast. This is Sean Jansen, taking over the host reins tonight from Brian. He's traveling right now. This is episode 56 of the Seacoast Beverage Lab podcast. Thank you for joining us. Anyone watching live, you can watch us live or chat with us in our chat room. So check out sblpodcast.com. And with me we have Mike.
Yo, Mike Meredith at Meredith on Twitter. Glad to be back. Just got back from the West Coast last night. Missed you guys. My lack of beer in the fridge has forced me to go to Old Faithful, Narragansett Lager tonight. So looking forward to talking some beer. So, Carla?
Cool. Hey, Carla Companion here, known online as the Beer Babe. I write for the Portland Press Herald. I do a blog over there, and also at the beerbabe.com. I'm drinking a Smutty Note today because I wasn't able to get down and get my growler full of Earth Eagle, but I'm still representing. So love their beer. Can't wait to chat with these guys.
And a little bit of spoiler there, Carla. Tonight we are welcoming Alex McDonald and Butch Heelshorn to the show.
Hiles.
They are the dynamic duo of Earth Eagle. Welcome, guys. What are you guys drinking?
How's it going, guys?
Hello. Welcome.
Cheers.
Cheerios.
Cheerios. Cheers. Favorite show.
So what's in that giant mug there?
Tonight I am sporting some Shepherd's Crook,
Nice.
a wheat pale ale with all New Zealand hops.
Ooh, neat.
Butch, do you have the same?
Bar.
Butch, do you have the same?
I do. I must confess, I did just knock out an Angus McFergus.
As we're pulling out all the stops on a
Those are
Monday night.
Some great names now. For those watching and listening, Earth Eagle Brewing is located in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. You guys have already celebrated your first anniversary. Coming up on the second one soon. Is that right?
The first anniversary is November 17th this year coming.
Oh,
Haven't even been open a year yet.
wow.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about Earth Eagle Brewing?
Sure. We're located downtown Portsmouth, New Hampshire, about a block and a half from the Portsmouth Brewery, which are really good friends of ours. We do everything from hoppy beers to Belgian styles to sour beers to gruits, which are a medieval style of beer brewed up until about the 16th century. They were brewed with herbs in place of hops. So you could say we're doing a little bit of experimentation over here in Portsmouth.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Every time that I've gone in there, it's usually about 50% gruits, and you're doing more gruits than anyone else out there in the market right now. Can you tell us a little bit? How did you get into the gruit side? When did you start brewing gruits?
Let's see. I'll lead off with that by disclosing that my wife's an herbalist. So at any given time, we've got herbs drying all over the house and whatnot. And originally, that was sort of a kind of a nuisance. But I started asking about it, and then I stumbled across this book by Stephen Buhner called Sacred Beers, and that lit the fuse on the whole thing. I had been a pretty heavy beer geek up until that point, and then suddenly there's this whole new style, new/old, and it was right around the time that this guy started dating my sister.
Uh-oh.
Go figure.
Yeah. So they got married, and we started a brewery. I mean, the rest is history.
That's nice. So was it like a shotgun wedding kind of with the brewing relationship? You're like, hey, now that you're married to my sister, we're going to start a brewery.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he would have never done that on his own volition.
Right.
No, you'd have to be crazy to do that.
But so anyway, so yeah, obviously hardly anyone's doing it. I think there's a couple, 2, 3, 4 places in the States and 5, 6, 7, 8 places out in Europe that are doing gruits. And up until very recently, I had never tasted one before, other than what we had made. So it's kind of exciting, really.
It's really a totally different flavor than what many craft beer drinkers right now are used to. Maybe gruits are going to become the East Coast thing, while sours is the West Coast thing. Who knows? But
yeah, I mean, it's a style of its own. Clearly, some of them even come across kind of like kombuchas and really, really interesting and different. So, and I think that's the beauty of it is playing around. We started out as home brewers, and we wanted to carry that forward into what we were doing here commercially. So.
No, do you mind? We have a lot of listeners that actually aren't from the New England area. Can you kind of go through a rundown of the different beers that you make, more so the mainstays, and kind of how you, and a bunch of the other, maybe talk about the other beers that you make in addition to that?
Sure. Yeah, I would say like I was mentioning, Butch and I started as homebrewers together back when I met his sister. He mentioned to me one day, yeah, I'm going to start brewing beer, and I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. I haven't done that in years. It'd be a lot of fun to do that again. And I think we did actually our first beer together was a clone of a worldwide stout by Dogfish Head, and it tasted great all the way up until we bottled it, and we didn't get our sanitation correct the first batch, and we had these awful beers the very first batch of beer.
ASS right there, I'm telling you.
But back to what we're doing now, one of the very first beers I started brewing as a home brewer was New England Gangsta, which is our, based on West Coast style IPAs. We both love hops, we both love herbs, we both love sour beers, we both love Belgians, so it wasn't like a far stretch to start playing around. But New England Gangsta is loaded with Citra, Amarillo, Cascade, Super Hop Bomb, very similar to like something you might find in Deschutes or some of the West Coast breweries out there. Use a West Coast style ale yeast rather than 1056, so it gets a little more fruity esters. The beer that we're drinking tonight, Shepherd's Crook, is a wheat pale ale. It's 50% wheat malt, but then it's all New Zealand hops, so it's got Green Bullet, Motueka, Nelson Sauvin, so nice pineapple-y, white grape finish. We do stouts and porters. Red Rider is a 30% rye malt red ale. So we're pushing all kinds of styles here that aren't just gruits. So we do a lot of more traditional styles, but we kind of put our own little twist on them, I guess.
Nice. Very cool. Carla?
Nope.
No.
Faded out on you.
I think we lost Carla. So you guys said
going.
So you guys said you started out in home brewing.
Meet George Jetson.
Is there something else you want to expand upon in home brewing? Perhaps an institution that you started around?
Sure, I suppose. I guess I could say that I also am co-owner of A&G Homebrew Supply.
There you go.
And that's kind of where it all started.
You can't have the A&G without the A, which is Alex.
Without Alex, I suppose.
It's Angie.
Yeah, I mean, and that all started as oddly enough, Butch and I were brewing beer. There wasn't a store in Portsmouth, and we were driving an hour to get our supplies. So, the idea came to me like, hey, why isn't there a homebrew store here in Portsmouth? We should open one. And it ended up being a solo venture, or a venture with just my wife and I, just as the fact that we couldn't find our supplies anywhere close. So, I started working on a business plan, spent a couple of years doing the demographics and researching everything, and finally, oddly stumbled on the space that, I wasn't really looking for it, but it found me.
Yeah, that's been the key to this whole thing, is this space that was empty for a couple of years, I guess. So the landlord was just happy to get somebody in there. Rent was really sweet. He could make it happen. Very nice. Alex wanted me to get involved initially, and I was like, dude, I'm not interested in opening a store. I just want to brew beer. So he went ahead without me and hooked up with my sister and made it happen. And obviously, it was a very good thing for the brewery as well as his store. So
I think they play off each other.
Model.
I think they play off each other. They both help each other, and there's growth opportunity from that.
Yeah.
You know what they call that, right? Synergy. How's that for a buzzword?
How about that?
Synergy, buzzword.
Awesome. That's just straight corporate.
S-Y-N, not S-I-N, Sean.
Well, it must be
tendencies.
It must be tough though, Butch, that you only get half of Alex. Like chop him right down the middle.
That's probably all he wants me.
That's all I can handle.
All he can handle is half of me.
Carly, you're just back in time on that one.
She's just dipping right in.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on right now, but somebody in my apartment building must be like trying to hack into the Gibson or something.
Yep, that's what it is. It's the NSA. They're on us.
Carly, did you want to ask your question?
Those damn beer talk. They talk beer.
That's our problem.
Carla.
Yeah, if anybody ever went through all my files, it would all just be about beer anyway. So were you going to let me ask my question, Sean? Did you ask it already while I was gone?
Yes.
You asked it, or do you want me to?
No, ask your question.
Sean, so my question is, a couple of years ago, you know, when more craft brewers started brewing.
You're gone again, lady.
So
Here,
she actually shared her question with us, so we can ask it.
Here, you want me to read it, Sean?
Go right ahead.
All right, it says, Carla Companion, my question is, with all the different styles they brew, a few years ago it was hard to get people to wrap their heads around typical styles like IPAs or Saisons. How have they found it is to educate people on more odd and rare styles? Meaning you guys.
you weird fuckers.
There it is, first up.
Quit your cussing.
FCC's going to be up our ass, man. Come on.
You know what? It's been very easy and very exciting. People seem like they're just dying to get into this some different territory and try some new tastes. And one of the things that's really been fascinating is that these gruits seem to be a real gateway beer for a lot of people, particularly women who insist that they don't like beer. And they'll taste one of these things and go, "That's beer? I like that," you know, just literally just like that. And then suddenly the door is open, you know. So people have been pretty stoked about it. And, of course, we've had the Beer Bus Tour rolling through here twice a week for the last couple of months. And actually a lot of those people look scared, frankly. But when they start tasting the beer, they seem to get it.
Nice.
Did we answer the question?
I believe you did.
I think you did.
Cool.
Yeah, and I have a follow-up question, or a new topic, I guess, of discussion. You guys have been established in the Portsmouth area now, you know, for some time, and you know, through A&G and now through Earth Eagle and everything. How do you guys see yourselves growing? What do you see like in the area? I know that's a huge hotbed for brewing in the area, you know, in that Seacoast area. You know, just like, what do you guys see as some of the tendencies? Do you like see the growth as positive? Do you see it, you know, like, what are your thoughts on the whole? There's the fruit fly. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's growing in a very positive way. As one of the guys over at the Portsmouth Brewery once told me, a rising tide floats all boats.
Nice.
What's good for you is good for us, and good
Was
for.
that Peter?
No, it wasn't actually. But it's somebody else that works over there. But you know, they're like in the near future. I mean, clearly, Throwback was one of the first nanos to start in the Seacoast, and they've made a huge mark in the scene here, and I think it's made it easier for all of us that have joined the scene since then. You've got Blue Lobster in Hampton. You've got us here in Portsmouth. There's another guy here trying to open up in Portsmouth, Beer Irish, and another guy in Newington, Stoneface Brewing, that's getting ready to open.
So they just got their sign up today. Did you see that?
No.
Did they really?
Has anyone got hooked? If you hook up with them on Facebook, of course they're doing the blow by blow, and today they were hanging up their signs on the side of the warehouse. It was kind of cool.
That's pretty
Over
awesome.
over by Rockingham Electric.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
Yeah,
off
no.
16.
But to add on to that, I think any growth is really good growth. But as a number of people have brought up, the big question is: are you into it for the beer, or are you into it for the money? And I think that's going to be the shakeout. You know, the people who are really into beer, who are really geeky, I think they're going to be the ones that last, and the folks that are in it to turn a profit, not so much.
Or are you in it to be famous?
Oh, we were already famous.
That's one. You're on our podcast.
We were clearly famous before this.
For other
happened.
reasons.
Old McDonald and Butch, yeah.
That's right. E-I-E-I-O, man.
That's pretty good. I'm going to get some mileage out of that.
You guys actually took a step down in the popularity, ladder, to start the brewery.
On that note,
right up on the top.
Well, you saw the commercial that Alex is in, right? They ask him how to spell cow, I think.
Yeah. D-O-W-E-I-E-I-O. Clearly.
God dang, man.
Oh, dang it.
So
You selling car insurance now? God.
While people are watching this live, we actually have 5 people in the chat room right now, and we have a chat question from Bruce. Bruce would like to know if you have any trouble getting sourcing any of the ingredients, the herbs or any of the New Zealand hops, or do you guys find any difficulty with the ingredients that you guys are using?
I think the benefit of, as far as the hops are concerned, owning A&G Homebrew Supply has made that much easier for Earth Eagle. I've been able to source a lot of more of the obscure hops that a lot of larger breweries aren't able to get through my homebrew supplier, as well as starting hop contracts back when we first started the homebrew store. I foresaw the fact that we were going to open a brewery in the future, so I started contracting hops out a couple of years ahead of time. So as far as hops are concerned, right now we don't have a hard time. Maybe as we get into a larger brew system, should things go well and we end up in a 7-barrel brew house or a 15-barrel brew house in the future, that might be more of an issue. But I am starting to contract out years ahead to make sure that that's not a problem in the future. As far as herbs, I'm going to pass that one over to Butch because he does more of the herbal beers and more of the ordering for that.
A lot of the stuff that happens on the Gruit side is about what's available. Rather than going out and saying I want to make this kind of beer, it's more like, all right, what can I get? And one of our key players this over the summer has been this woman Jenna Roselle, who's a professional forager. So she goes out in the woods and gets all sorts of goodies, not just for us, but a lot of the A-list restaurants in the area. So a lot of the Gruits kind of depend on what she's offering at a given time. So
are you guys
we're flexible on that end of it.
Are you guys gonna offer like the Earth Eagle Wilderness Tour where you go out with a group and forage some ingredients and then come back to the brewery?
We just might.
Like a wet hopping, but it's gonna be
like a soup
wet
group.
druiding.
Nude.
Soup group.
We'll go foraging through the forest.
Be one with the earth.
Tra-la-la, tra-la-la.
People show up with grass clippings and like mulch. They're like, let's make beer. It's like, no, cut. Wrong.
As long as it's lemongrass, we're good.
Right, exactly. Time. It's just like that'd be an awesome yard, lemongrass yard.
Right, you are.
Yes. I gotta say, cheers to the Gansett. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man.
We met some good people from that brewery at the Brew Fest. They were big sour fans.
It's Old Faithful, man. I pretty much always have a Gansett Tall Boy on hand. It's like in case of emergency, break glass. So.
So I'm going to try to ask another question, and if I get dropped off halfway through, I've dropped it in the chat box so that they can actually ask it for me. I wanted you guys to talk a little bit about the Tapping Portsmouth event and the Strawberry Bank beer that you brewed there. Give us a little take about what that was all about and how that came about.
Geez, I'm not sure how exactly that they kind of knocked on our door, I believe.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they had kind of heard about what we were up to, and they sort of hatched this idea about the rich brewing history of Portsmouth, and we were all over it, and we did a little research. We hooked up with some friends, one of which was Emerson Baker from Salem State University, who gave us some very interesting ideas about what to brew with and whatnot. And we came up with this beer Scorbutus, which was a pretty good size hit. We brewed 2 batches, one that had a water base like most beers do, and then one that had a maple sap base, which was kind of unusual, and I'm sure totally authentic. It's been great.
It's never been done.
There were two events that happened, one in May and one in September, and not just our beer, but everybody's beer seemed to be very well received, and I think we all got a thrill out of trying to go back in time and recreate something that might have been available in that tavern, in the 1700s.
So is that something you could see yourselves doing again?
Yeah, so that was the very first. That one was in May, the Scorbutus, and then they did a second event in the fall, right before the Passport beer event here in Prescott Park, and that one was with Tad Baker, which we did one of the oldest known recipes in New England. It was Joslin's Ale, which we dubbed Joslin's 1666 Ale, and that was done with a ton of molasses, wormwood, and sassafras. And I believe that was it. And but that was one of the oldest known recipes in New England, and it's kind of cool to try and recreate something that really hasn't been done since the 1600s, or at least commercially. And then we were able to serve it in the William Pitt Tavern at Strawberry Bank, which is one of the oldest taverns in Portsmouth. Right. And George Washington, John Hancock, all those guys drank there.
John Paul Jones.
I mean, that's pretty awesome to be able to serve a beer and drink a beer in a place where the first president of the United States drank.
It's Goosebump City, definitely.
That's crazy. That's great. I didn't even know that. That's awesome. So what have you guys got coming up? What's the next thing that you guys are excited about doing or trying, or what should we be looking out for when we send people over to you guys in the next couple months?
Clearly the Pig's Head Porter's coming.
Yes.
Pig's Head Porter.
So that's a porter that's actually brewed with a pig's head, brains included.
Delicious.
Do we have the eyes in?
Porter Couchon.
Yeah. That's French for those of you who are not sure. Couchon. But that's been a fall hallmark of ours for a while now, even before we opened up. But people seem to enjoy it, and we certainly would like to expand our meat brewing acumen. And so it's good to be able to, yeah, I know, keep a straight face on that.
So this particular beer is done with hogsheads. We're feeding the local farmer all of his pigs with our spent grains, and he is supplying us with I think 3 or 4 pig's heads this year. In return, we'll smoke those pig's heads. We'll smoke them for 5-6 hours in a smoker, and then we slow cook them in a broth of wort and maple syrup and different spices. We'll cook that down for hours and get all the meat and everything to fall off the bones. Refrigerate it to get all the fat to congeal after pulling all the meat and bones out, of course.
Because, as maybe some of your viewers realize, fat negatively affects beer head. So if you want a little foam on the top, it's not going to happen with it.
For all those
I've had a couple
ladies,
bacon beers.
You don't want to affect beer head. I'm just saying.
You don't want bad beer head.
No bad beer head.
Wait, what?
Just saying.
We also have a couple of people who want to supply us with some male chickens for guess what kind of ale? That's right, cock ale. And you can Google that. That's real. It's real, and we'll do. Of course, we'll probably do a Tom ale maybe before we do the cock ale. I don't know. Keep it in the turkey family. But
so I think our newest intern, said he tried making a cocktail once, and it was awful.
Yeah, he probably didn't have the finesse.
Yeah, fix it.
We're talking to Ben Hasty up to When Pigs Fly.
Oh yeah.
His folks actually own a hog farm, I guess, up in the Brewings, and we may be getting some offal from him for a special
cool.
ale.
Here we go.
That's
That's
awful with an O.
Yes. Oh, SFAL.
And then the other thing to be looking forward.
Can we have a beer dinner with that paired up? Because I would totally go for that.
It's a wild game beer dinner.
We probably could
Yeah.
do something like that. It'd probably be good. We are going to be putting a small kitchen in the near future, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
going
the big news.
to allow us to sell a pint here in New Hampshire, which is big news for a nano brewery.
Yay!
So,
But we're going to be starting Hop Wars here shortly, which is going to be single hopped beers going up against each other. First one to win, or first one to kick, will be the one that wins that battle. And we're gonna bracket chart that down to the last two hops that are out there. So
Is that viewer choice? Like, are they voting? Are people voting?
yeah, people will be voting by the fact that the first beer to kick will be the one that actually wins.
Vote by drinking, ain't that America?
Yeah.
Yes.
totally America.
What we'll probably do is put all the hops, the tickets in a hat or something, and have a customer pull 2 hops out, and those will be the 2 that get brewed up against each other. That way, it's a little more random rather than brewer bias.
Nice. That's cool.
That's
I like
He's
it.
gonna do a little bracketology, put it online, and have everyone fill out their brackets.
Totally.
CBS Sports.
We'll send you a little snippets for your podcast. You can just keep posting
awesome.
this along.
And
You're like,
this week,
"Hey,
it is
hurrah!"
East Kent Goldings versus
it's
Cascade Hops.
That would be really funny.
And then the winner of the Hop War is going to face off against an herb.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
There you go.
You're gonna have a
My
herb war
favorite, if you're
first?
betting, my favorite is the beer made with reindeer lichen. I think it's going to take it all.
Neat. What does reindeer lichen taste like?
The deepest,
Christmas.
dankest, darkest middle of the forest.
Sounds delicious.
Appropriate.
Damn good.
That's awesome.
It scares Alex
me
and
wanna
excites
go-
me. That's our
I think that's the
dynamic.
beauty of what we've got going on here. He pushes my boundaries, I push his,
That's awesome.
and it seems to work for us. So.
Makes me want to go run out into the forest and start chewing on things.
Now, Mo, you look like you got a question.
naked, collecting
Well-
reindeer lichen.
I just realized that your guys' Hogshead Ale kind of goes full circle because the spent grain goes to the hog farm to feed them, and then in return you get some pigs back. So it's like
Right?
so these are beer pigs.
That's right, right?
From birth to death.
That is pretty awesome.
Like a Pink Floyd album or something?
Yeah. That's what, at least the pigs know, it's like they're bred for the cause. Just like
They're down for the cause, every one of them.
they just know.
Now, can we just step back for a moment? So, at some point, you guys were like, "Oh, we're gonna brew a beer. Let's throw a boar's head in it." Wait, how does that even come up in a conversation?
You know,
Actually, it
like
was
I
done
dare you to do
before,
it?
like-
It wasn't our idea, I'm
Yeah.
afraid.
Somebody won the GABF 2 years ago with a pig's head beer or a pig's
It was
or
either
pork
right,
beer.
it
Or
was either
something.
right-hand brewing or left-hand brewing. One of those.
It was left-hand brewing.
They're up in Michigan. So
That's awesome.
so much for originality.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was
they won a beer and we were like, holy crap, let's do that. And,
And we said it in front of the wrong guy. And the next thing, 2 days later, we get a phone call. Hey, I got some pig's head for you. Do you want them? And we're like,
okay.
okay, we'll do it.
So do you have to put a warning on it, like vegans don't try this one?
Yeah.
Funny story, right? So we put it on tap last year after we opened the brewery, and there's a woman sitting in her tap room drinking the beer, or like chatting with everybody, and the conversation comes up,
About
there's
the beer.
there's a pig's head, and and they're like chatting about it,
And she's
and
drinking
she-
away.
and she's drinking, and then she orders it, and then the conversation strikes up again. I can't believe there's a pig's head in this, and she says, wait. There's actually meat in this beer? There's a pig's head in
oh shit.
and everybody's like, yeah. It's a pig's head porter.
And she's
idiot.
like,
I've been a vegetarian for like the last 10 years.
6 years, she said, since she's had any meat product. So
Well, guess what?
she smiled and
Awkward.
kept drinking, so it's all good.
Oh, good. Thank
Big
God. I
goose
could've
egg.
went-
Start over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she
and
went out and had a hamburger that night.
6 years without an incident.
After that, we put a disclaimer on the board that said contains meat.
Point arrow to the pig, circle it, highlight it. Yeah, there's pig in this, goddammit. Wow, I could have taken the South Road very quickly. Yeah, just like.
Yeah.
That would have been great. It is amazing though for those.
Yes,
of you who have
Sean,
not
we
tried
are
it.
putting a disclaimer on there.
That's good. That's definitely
awesome.
good.
That's
I was hoping it was like, like one day, like you guys were brewing up beer, like that, and then somebody accidentally tripped with like, some pork chops or something, like threw it in, and you're like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Oh, funny story. No, never mind.
Now, with the homebrew shop being next door, have you guys done a homebrew competition, and then the winner gets to brew at Earth Eagle?
Yeah, actually, the Seacoast Homebrew Club meets here once a month, and we just started doing a competition inside the club. And the first winner was Dick Adams, or Richard Adams. He goes by Dick. And he won with a Belgian Dark Strong. We just brewed it, and it should be on tap here shortly.
Oh, great. What was that his same beer? So you brewed his same recipe?
Yeah, it was his beer. We took his recipe, scaled it up to a 1-barrel batch, and made a 1-barrel batch together. And we're going to do that twice a year, probably.
The other thing that was really cool about this beer is that at the contest, all the members kind of decided which beer they liked. Everybody thought his beer kicked ass. It was very, very head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah.
nice.
How many beers were entered?
There was probably 15, 20 people here that night.
So probably a dozen or so.
I would
15
say a couple
maybe.
dozen beers were entered in the competition, and his was the one that won hands down. So
Nice.
and basically we did a blind tasting of everybody's beers, and everybody in the club that night discussed and decided which voted on it, and then we put it all into a tally, and his beer was the one that won. So.
Awesome.
Yeah,
very cool.
It's a really, really good a Belgian Dark Strong. So, and then we'll do another one in the spring.
And what are we going to call this beer?
Dick Adams. Yeah.
When you see that on the tap list, you know what that's all about.
Yeah. I asked him. I said, "So Dick, what do you want to call this beer?" He's like, "It's a Belgian Dark Strong." I don't know. I said, "Well, your
That's
name is
strong.
pretty awesome, so I'm going to call it Dick Adams."
Yep. That's great. That's fabulous.
That's awesome.
And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. That's all you have to say about that. That's awesome.
No, I'm not sure if we already talked about it. Did we talk about how big your brew system is and how often you're brewing and
Massive.
things?
Yeah, it's
All the time.
no, we haven't.
We have just doubled in size, though. We actually we're 200% larger than we used to be.
Yeah.
Nice.
We started out as a 1-barrel system.
And now we're
And
two.
We were going to start with our
That's it. You got it.
our 10-gallon homebrew setup like Sam did at Dogfish, and just before we opened, I was like, "This is a bad idea."
Well, and also let's add the little feedback from Gary from
BBC.
Berkshire Brewing Company, who when he heard that story was like, "Are you freaking kidding me? You can't do that. Go big or go home," he said. So the next time we saw him, we were able to go, "Hey, dude,
We tripled,
1 barrel."
we tripled our size.
And he smiled. He's a good guy. He appreciated that.
But what I really like about the fact that we brew small is that we can brew weird. It's a lot of breweries get trapped in the fact that they can't brew something obscure and different because they're brewing in such large quantity that if you brew 15 barrels of a pig's head porter and it comes out bad, guess what? You're stuck with 15 barrels of.
Well, unless you're Sam.
Right. Unless of course you're Sam.
Maybe that's a new T-shirt slogan for you. Brew small, brew weird.
Yeah.
Try an Earth Eagle Brewing. Try an Earth Eagle.
I'm writing that down now.
Do it.
We did get a
How about
comment
that
from the chat room. It said for the new beer that's coming out, people are just gonna come up and say, "Give me a dick, Adams."
Give me a dick.
That person's a mind reader right there.
He knew exactly
Exactly.
what I was talking about.
Oh, that's too funny. Oh, man. Oh, did we lose him?
Alex, we've
Nope, still there.
Yeah, we've shut him down.
Nice, there they
Sorry.
are.
Bruce, there was another comment earlier on in the chat room that you'll probably get a kick out of this. It was from Gerard when we were talking about going into the forest. It's professional forager. Yet another career path that my high school guidance counselor neglected to mention. And that's
well,
I bring it up.
as an actual guidance counselor, I must say that it's so unusual. You know, it's so.
It's not your typical career path.
It's not. Yeah, it's not very regulated, and income is extremely variable. But I got to tell you that our person hit the mother lode of something called Sweet Gale recently, which is kind of like one of the old school ultimate gruit herbs.
Nice.
And it's going for $50 a pound on the internet. And needless to say, we did not have to pay $50 a pound on the internet for it. So
Nice.
I think it's kind of a binge and purge thing.
Yeah.
She's actually looking for employment this winter because things kind of shut down, as you might imagine.
She's not going to forage for snow?
That's why your guidance counselor didn't tell you about it. Yeah, right.
It's seasonal.
Let's see, you got your yellow snow and your yellow snow.
Your salty dirt snow? That could be interesting.
Now, being so close to the seacoast, have you guys thought about doing any seafood products into beers, either oysters or mussels or?
It's all in the ideas. Certainly in the wheelhouse. I can't eat shellfish, so it kind of is not my thing. But that
Might
doesn't
be
mean
off the
we
table.
won't do it. I've considered doing a goza with seaweed to get the salt content.
Ooh.
Do that. Try that, please.
Do that.
I love gozas, and that sounds really fun.
Did you have the goza that we did with Todd Mott?
I believe I did, actually. I think I might have been there the weekend that you had that.
That beer was so nice. And speaking of Todd, he's opening his brewery here shortly here in
Yes, he
Kittery,
is.
right over the border.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carl.
I was just going to say, and Somi Brewing down in York is also just got their approval, so they're getting close too.
Some, I think they're calling it.
Yeah.
Some brewery.
Who?
I don't know much about those guys.
Oh, some? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just, it's funny how careers collide, but I was at a guidance counselor meeting recently and randomly sat down in the empty seat between these two women. I sit down, and all of a sudden the woman on my left is talking about this brewery that she and her husband are opening, and I'm like, are you kidding?
Like, what?
And it turned out I think her name was Lisa, I think, and she's from this Some Brewery. She let me know that was her idea, the Some Brewery thing. But I haven't been up there yet. She was very nice, and we wish them the best of luck. Hopefully we'll get up there soon, see what they're up to. I guess her hubby is the brewer. He's been down here a bunch of times, apparently, but has remained, anonymous, I guess.
That's not
okay.
the In on the Blues
No.
guys, because they're opening a brewery as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Maine has 45 operating breweries as of today, and it has about 18 in planning, just that we know of already.
Oh, God.
So it's we went from 42 and 16 to 45 and 18 now, so they just keep getting in there. But we just welcome nicely, and they're up in Limerick. But
they're all over the place. I mean, and at owning a homebrew store, I can't tell you how many times I hear people come in and go, I'm going to open a brewery.
Do they actually make that
Easier
noise?
said than done, that's for sure.
That's when you just hold up a sign.
I just brewed my first batch of beer. I'm opening a brewery. This is really cool.
It's a winner.
I heard you can make $1 million doing that. Yeah.
It only cost you 900 grand, but there you go. Oh man, that must be kind of a fun though. Like every day, a group coming in being like, "Yup, here we go, starting our brewery."
Yeah, you'd be amazed at what you hear. I won't go into details. I don't want to be that kind of guy.
Crush any dreams.
You should have a bell.
You hear some really interesting stories.
Ding the bell.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
Now, for any of our listeners or people going to be watching this later, where can they find Earth Eagles Brewing beers?
In our tap room exclusively.
Yep.
Exclusive.
And you should
VIP.
visit there often because they change all the time. So you should just go in and then come in again and then come in some more and then go back. And then go back.
That's the beauty, again, of the small batch brewing, We do 1 and or 2 barrel batches.
Yeah.
So, 2 barrels of beer doesn't last very long. 60 gallons goes fast, so it's a constant rotation of beer.
Especially when the brewers are thirsty.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Free beer.
Now, do you guys offer anything in a bottle, or will you be offering anything in a bottle in the future?
We will be. We have some barrel-aged stuff that's going to be coming out shortly. We've got Yankee Badass, which is a pseudo IPA, I guess, like kind of based on the old school based.
It's a Voyage IPA.
Right. So like your IPAs and historically were brewed and then they were aged in barrels for 6 months to a year before they were served. So this is one based on that idea.
Well, let me just add in there. So they were stored in the barrels because they were being shipped from England to India. So that's why they were sitting around that long. So we're kind of trying to come up with what that beer might have tasted like when it arrived in Bangalore or whatever.
But not necessarily, because there was also like Ballantine that was in New Jersey that brewed their beer and aged it for a year in oak before they served it as their IPA. So, there's the Voyage, but also the domestic IPAs that were aged for a long time in oak barrels.
Who knew?
And then there's we have a blood orange black pepper saison that was aged with Brett Brettanomyces limbicus for 6 months. And we also have a Flanders style or New England sour ale that we're calling it that had a 2-year-old blended with a 1-year-old with 10 pounds of tart cherries, Brett Lacto, PDO.
American Goose.
American Goose.
Sounds delicious.
So those are all going to be bottle conditioned and sold exclusively in bottles.
Hopefully in time for the holidays.
Yes.
Ah.
So,
Only sold from.
get your stockings ready.
Only sold from your.
Probably available here.
Or are you gonna?
Yeah,
Are you gonna self-distribute a little bit, or only?
And Market Basket.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll be there.
Just a comment from the chat room from Bruce again. He said he was glad to see you guys at a couple different local festivals, including on the Gate City in Nashua and the Powder Keg in Exeter. They missed you at Red Hook this past weekend.
Oh, we were
Bruce
there.
Bruce wants to know if
Bruce, what's up?
do you guys plan on selling your beer at any of the farmers markets?
I suppose as we grow, it's it's been tough for us to just keep up with our tap room, and that's the only reason we've been restricted to where we're selling our beer. We feel that it's more important to make sure that we always have beer here than to start accounts and fall short on keeping them stocked. So as we grow, absolutely.
That seemed to be more our vibe. That whole farmers market thing. I think that would fit pretty well. Mainly because we'd be hitting those farmers up for ingredients.
Yeah.
Right.
Little barter system.
Pig's heads.
Yeah.
I need more pigs.
Yeah.
It's a 16th century farmers market. You guys are trading swine. You're like, here you go, have my mead. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Now, do you guys have any questions for us?
Yeah, how come it's so dark in your room, Sean?
Yeah,
Yes.
Sean, get a lamp.
It's the.
What's up with that?
Cheap bastard.
What are you holding a lighter in your hand or something? What's going on?
Okay.
man?
Do you guys have any relevant questions? How's that?
I've actually, for 56 episodes, even in the dead of summer when it was sunny out, it's still that same light.
It's
I don't
pretty
know.
awesome that you have that dark hue in your computer room.
It's
What
actually
else
the
are you
camera.
doing there, Sean?
Uh-oh. He's getting
It's really
stemmy.
bright. Actually, the
Hey,
camera.
Mike, I got a question for you. You got some boy band picture behind you on the wall. What
Yeah,
is that?
that's Newfound Glory. They're not a boy band, but there are boys in a
They're boys
band,
in it?
I guess. Oh shit!
Isn't that you in the background?
What's that? No,
Yeah,
I
just
do
like-
kind of look like Jordan, but no, not as cool.
He knows all their
unfortunately.
names.
I got a teddy bear too. It's over there if you want to point out stuff in my room.
I
Yeah,
didn't see the teddy bear until you
I'll just point it out for all
all.
my fans in the
This
podcast
is
world.
really
Look
starting to
at
go
that.
south, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Mike, have you been in before?
I have
You been to
not.
Earth Eagle?
I have tried your guys' stuff at the at a couple of brew fests, but I have not been in yet, and I apologize for that. I owe you guys a visit, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So.
that's all.
It's all good. We'll be around next
You're
time.
like, no, door's locked. Don't.
Yeah.
Nah.
I know
Have
you.
Have you been in? Then you're not going to. So, no, but I'm definitely excited to come check your guys' spot out. I know Brian. By the way, Brian says hello to everybody, and he speaks volumes. Of your guys' new spot. I feel like you post a photo every other day at your spot. So I'm looking forward to coming in soon. So
Yeah, Brian's unfortunately in Pittsburgh tonight, so he couldn't join us. And
They
It
got
is
some good beer
unfortunate.
there.
I think he'll be watching it later at least. If any last questions? Guess not. Okay,
is it
so
time? Is it time for Zen?
it is time for the moment of Zen. You guys sort of alluded to it a little bit earlier, and if you watched any of our last probably about 10 to 15 episodes, we're asking all of our professional guests if they have advice for anybody that would like to start a new brewery.
Yeah, don't do it.
That's a first.
No, we've had someone else. We've had other people say,
Oh,
"Don't
yeah,
do
yeah.
it." Yeah.
Run. Yeah.
Yeah, run away.
Don't do it. Run.
Can you expand on that?
If you don't mind working your butt off, and you're really passionate about beer, and it's really, 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 truly the ultimate thing you want to do, then do it. It's absolutely amazing to create, to do what you want to do and to live your dream. But you're going to work hard to do it. Just expect that. I guess that's kind of.
This is going somewhere. Who's the lead dude at Lagunitas? You guys remember the dude's name that started that?
Tony.
What is it?
It's Lagunitas Tony.
Tony. All right. So I have a good friend that works for Tony, and Tony released a book recently about his triumphs and travails in brewing. So this friend of mine had him sign the book and said, "Oh, my friend Butch has started a brewery with his brother-in-law, blah blah blah. Can you sign it for him?" What do you suppose it said when I opened up that first page and got that book from Tony?
Are you crazy?
What did you say? Are you pretty? What?
Are you crazy?
Crazy.
Are you crazy?
You're pretty.
Yes.
Well, you're not too far off. He said, "Butch, don't do it. Don't do it." But yeah, that aside, I would say to Alex, look, if you're really into beer, it doesn't get much better than that. But you are, 97% janitor, and 2% artist, and 1%
Brewing beer.
yeah, something else. I don't know what the other.
1% the rest,
You
right?
got to make sure you clean your restroom and do all that stuff too. But yeah, it really is. It's no joke when they say that you are a glorified janitor. That's kind of what it comes down to.
Now, is that Butch talking or the guidance counselor? What would the guidance counselor on this one
become
say?
a doctor or a lawyer. Don't be a brewer.
Don't do it. Yeah, what would you say? What would you say to a student if they, and no joke, like somebody comes into your office, you're like, I got it all figured out. I'm gonna brew beer.
Wait till you're 21.
Yeah, would that be the first?
Yeah, I think my professional hat would come off pretty quick, and I'd go, dude, can I try some of your beer?
You looking for an unpaid internship? You can work for free and get a lot of experience.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We've got just the position for you.
Yeah.
Money's overrated.
Hey,
You
remember
can't
that
buy happiness.
97% gendering? I know what you can do with that.
Yeah.
If
Drop
somebody
it down
rolls
to
in and they're
exactly.
16 and they want to be a brewer, I'm going to have some questions.
Yeah.
But having said that, there's a young lady who, from one of my former schools who didn't really let on that she was into brewing. Apparently, she helped her dad for years and years with his home brewing experience. She went on to BU and got a undergraduate degree in chemistry, and guess what she did next?
Went to Brewing Institute.
UC Davis.
Yeah, she's working for Sam now.
I bumped into her at a beer festival in Boston, and I just about fell over.
Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah. And so now she works for Sam.
That's awesome.
Wow.
There is.
I could have swore you were going to say investment banker, but damn it.
Not
Shit.
even.
Not even close. Yeah.
Well, we do really appreciate you guys spending your time with us tonight. We know that it was long overdue. You were the 56th guest, and I think maybe about 37th or 38th. Well, 56th show, about 37th to 38th guest on the show. Do you guys have any upcoming events that you want to share with the audience?
Well, our 1-year anniversary is coming up November 17th. I'm not sure what we have planned exactly for beer, but I'm sure it'll be a good time.
Sounds like you're
Yeah,
also
mark
going to have
that on your
Sean's
calendar.
birthday beer.
Yep.
As your celebration is also my birthday.
No,
Oh, there you go. We
Okay.
do. I will let you know that we do have a 5-gallon keg of Willie Wallace, aged in Brett. So that's been sitting
Yeah.
around for a good several months. So
That's got the
Yeah.
oak chips from the original Flanders
Ooh.
that was 2 years old. So
there'll be some special
Yeah.
beer for sure.
And for other events, I believe you guys also have something on the homebrew side on November 2nd.
yeah, oh yeah, I guess I should mention that, huh? That's Teach a Friend a Homebrew Day. We brew out in the parking lot twice a year here in AAG, Earth Eagle. That one, the Seacoast Homebrew Club will be setting up in the parking lot, brewing a bunch of beer from extract to all grain, showing everybody how it's done.
And grilling.
And grilling.
Even
Tons
better.
of food.
Maybe throw a little boar's head in the mix.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Now, are you guys doing
Little
anything
pork
special?
cheeks.
Are you guys doing anything special for November 8th?
November 8th. What's November 8th?
It's National Stout Day.
National Stout Day. Who cares about that? I'm just kidding.
We
Gives
will
a
have a
shit.
stout on.
We'll have a stout on. Ooh.
I'll have a beer. Next problem.
You've heard about diurnal, right? Our hopped up blonde. Well, get ready for nocturnal. That may well last that long.
That's our big 7.5% American stout.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
American.
It's Nugget and Chinook, and then a bunch of other hops that I don't remember
Yes.
at the moment.
Some stouty bits in there.
But it's delicious.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you guys, and as we do at the end of every show, we raise a glass and toast.
Oh, wait, we got to fill our glasses here. Hold on.
Fill it up.
Let's do this right.
There it is. You guys got a picture and everything.
Cheers,
Oh, just
y'all.
lost Carla.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Joe.
Cheers, and thank you.
Thanks for having
Wait a
us.
sec.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Cheers, and thanks for joining us.
Woo!